6. The man batting for too long, but making no stop. See that, see that, hey.
All right, it's time to bring you the evening news right here on your nation station, DBS Radio. It's 6 o'clock in the studios of your nation station, DBS Radio.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
Good evening and welcome to the DBS Evening News. My name is Alian Christopher. In the headlines, national broadcaster DBS Radio to observe Buyo Day tomorrow with a full day of special programming. From the region, Cuba notifies airlines of jet fuel shortage at major airports, and internationally, the United States military has announced the seizure of a Venezuela-linked vessel in the Indian Ocean. These are the headlines we're looking at. The details of the news when we return.
Flow makes your next phone upgrade easy. Add postpaid to your internet plan and score a Samsung Galaxy for as low as $33 a month. It's the smartest way to an interest-free premium phone upgrade. Don't let anything stand between you and that new phone feeling. Step into your upgrade with confidence. Visit us in store and sign up today. We keep your rhythm flowing. Terms and conditions apply.
DBS News.
Welcome back to the DBS Evening News. My name once again, Alian Christopher. National broadcaster DBS Radio will observe Buyo Day tomorrow with a full day of special programming dedicated to the island's homegrown music genre. Program director at DBS Radio, Ivona John Baptist Luge, said the national broadcaster takes pride in initiatives that recognize and promote Dominica's cultural heritage, particularly local music.
DBS Radio takes immense pride in any program that recognizes aspects of our cultural heritage. And in this case, music, Buyo music to be precise. For the national broadcaster, this is deeply rooted in our appreciation for things local. And so sports editor Gavin Richards, who heads the Buyo Day committee this year, has put together a star-studded lineup of Buyo artists. One in particular has helped blaze the trail, Derek Ra Peters, who was there from the time the Buyo was cooking. And then we went down the line to include the recently crowned Junior Buyo Monarch Rinsa Pop. Here's how we start off after 5 a.m. starts. At 7, Colin XP will present the morning news, and James Rodney of TK International fame will present sports. At 1:15, Geoffrey Joseph and Mr. Ridge will present news. We expect musical maestro Krishna Dada Lawrence to speak about the growth of Buyo music. TK International, Trilogy, Rhythm Knockers, DJ Taffy, DJ MJ, Colin XP, Shelly and Signal Band, Young Rinsa Pop, and other artists will take the spotlight as well as DBS Radio celebrates Buyo music. So we invite you to catch the action tomorrow on all our frequencies, on digital channel 50 as well, on social media, Facebook and YouTube. Together, we must celebrate Buyo music. That's our own.
And that's program director at DBS Radio, Ivona John Baptist Luge. Meanwhile, communications specialist at the Discover Dominica Authority, Monel Alexis, says a major cultural celebration will be held on Hanover Street in Roseau as part of Buyo Day.
Buyo is Dominica's music, built over time by people who kept showing up, kept recording, kept performing, and kept pushing the sound. This Tuesday, February 10th, we celebrate that music at Buyo Day on Hanover Street in Roseau. From 5 p.m. to midnight, come out for a full night of Buyo with Asa Bantan, Shelly, Trilogy, Rio, Mr. Ridge, Pudas, Nice, DJ MJ, Kenny G, Guada G, Little Boy, Quan, Freddie, Trix, Faithy, Ebony Empress, DJ Snow, The Unstoppable DJs, WCK, TK Combo, and more. This event is about the music and the people behind it. It's free, it's live, powered by GX Sounds. Let's celebrate Buyo Day together.
Communication specialist at the Discover Dominica Authority, Monel Alexis. And DBS's radio reporter Leila Langford has begun a week-long climate change conference in Germany. Leila Langford reports from Berlin, Germany.
As small island developing states like Dominica continue to face the harsh realities of climate change, Germany, as one of the leading European countries, has been advocating for greater awareness of climate change and its negative impacts on various sectors of the global economy. The country has also called for the inclusion of small island developing states in discussions regarding climate initiatives and increased access to climate change funding for these nations. Dr. Benjamin Paul, head of the program on climate diplomacy and security at the Ada Delphi Research Center in Berlin, has emphasized the need for enhanced climate diplomacy, particularly due to the vulnerabilities that states face. He made this statement during an informational tour organized by Germany's Federal Foreign Office on the topic of the climate peace security nexus for journalists from around the world, which is taking place in Berlin, Germany.
The SIDS are the countries that feel it in many ways, are already the most vulnerable and have the biggest impact, right? Because of the extreme weather events, but also because depending on the exact structure of the island, sea level rise is really important. But I think it's actually important for all countries, right? So in a way, the SIDS are the canary in the coal mine, who are showing us what the vulnerabilities that are also growing elsewhere, but they are coming earlier.
15 journalists representing countries from as far as Rwanda in South Africa, as well as 2 Caribbean nations, Dominica and Trinidad, are currently participating in this tour. Leila Langford reporting from Berlin, Germany for DBS News.
And all thanks to Leila Langford for this report. In other news, Chairman of the Dominica Hospital's Authority, Dr. Donald Peters, says international accreditation is a major goal for the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital this year. Dr. Peters says the Dominica Hospital's Authority is working with major accreditation bodies abroad to meet that goal.
These hospitals need to be accredited internationally so that when foreigners or anyone comes for the insurance, whether it's foreign or not, we can accept them. And our standards need to meet international standards in order to do that. So that is on our schedule, and we have been working on it for three years, and we intend work with Accreditation Canada to get accreditation done here. The second thing, and probably the most important thing we're working on, is stabilizing our finances. Healthcare globally is the most expensive expenditure for any government, including the Trump United States. This is so expensive that some governments just cannot afford to make healthcare free. But in Dominica, we do so. Thirdly, we want to work closely with the Ministry of Health and Public Health, because I will tell you a number, and we probably will see there. 68% of all the people who come through A&E are not emergencies. They use it as a clinic. And you can understand the dynamics. If 100 people come through A&E a day, and 68% have probably a stomach ache or flu virus, and what about the ones with the broken arms, broken legs, or acute heart attack? So we need to manage this, and I can appeal to the public, please go to your health center instead of coming all the way to Goodwill if you have a flu virus.
That's Chairman of the Dominica Hospital's Authority, Dr. Donald Peters. Meantime, the Dominica Hospital Authority says it will introduce new safety measures at the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital effective February 13th. Security and Safety Manager at the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital, Bernard Barry, says The safety measures are to ensure there is greater control during the carnival season.
As a result of that, there will be stricter controls in place to try and mitigate and try to streamline the operations during carnival. So I wanted to try and sensitize the public. I know it's been done before. Every year carnival, we usually have some of these things in place, but we wanted to take the opportunity to let the public know, especially those might be coming from overseas, that these things are going to be in place effective February 13th to try and keep the hospital as safe and secure as possible. Upon coming to the hospital, you may have to be screened and searched by the security personnel at the entrance gate. That is in a reason to try to limit or stop any illegal weapons or any offensive weapons from coming to hospital. Unfortunately, we've had instances where people come in for medical care, but they have something in their belongings that can be a risk to our nurses, staff, and other patients. So we really want to curb this for this kind of a season. If you're going to the A&E or the Alford ward, you may also expect to get further screened there, because these areas are places we have noticed have the most foot traffic and also the most tendencies to have higher amounts of violence in these areas. So these areas there will have much stricter controls to ensure that nothing happens out of the norm during the season. I understand that this might seem a bit extreme to some, but please understand that there are legit safety reasons for this.
And that is Security and Safety Manager at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, Bernard Barry. The construction of a $7.7 million citrus certification facility in Londonderry is being hailed as a major step in government's efforts to revive Dominica's citrus industry and restore the island's former standing as a leading regional producer. Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Roland Royer, highlighted the significance of the project while addressing an agriculture meeting in Castlebruce. Once operational, Royer says the facility will be capable of supporting the production of at least 50,000 citrus plants per production cycle.
So we know before we were one of the greatest producers of citrus in Dominica. So we took a deliberate effort to see how we can ramp up to get us back to the levels we were. So as we speak, we are propagating over 50,000 plants at 1 mile, and we have citrus plants available, targeting farmers that traditionally grow citrus, targeting the farmers who would have abandoned citrus estates, and of course to make sure you're in the correct agro-eco zones that can do citrus well. So that, for a few years, we didn't have any citrus plants available. It has been pulled by the private sector, but when the government has come in to ensure that we have plants available. On top of that, to ensure that we produce citrus in a conducive environment so that it will not have any pest or diseases, we are constructing a $7.7 million facility at Londonderry, which we call the Citrus Certification Facility. Not many islands in the CARICOM have such a facility. $7.7 million. So that is the significance and importance we are placing on the citrus subsector to take us back to the levels that we were. And that can produce at least 50,000 plants in any one cycle. So it's close to the cycle life of farm. If you're driving through, you can go through the farm and you can see the construction ongoing. We're about 90% complete and should commission that facility in the next few months.
Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Roland Royer. Meanwhile, Parliamentary Representative for the Castlebruce constituency, Octavia Alfred, has called on farmers and residents of Castlebruce to embrace a renewed mindset towards agriculture, stressing that the sector remains a viable pathway to prosperity, food security and improved health. She encouraged farmers to take advantage of the opportunities available and to actively engage in discussions aimed at strengthening the agricultural sector within the constituency and beyond.
Sometimes it gets too sad to see so much is going on in agriculture, and everybody said, "Oh, let a big piece of land on the stretch there," you know. And then people talking about youth in agriculture. We cannot be an instant gratification generation where we just want it now and we want it big and we want it fast. Agriculture is a process that can give it to you big, but you have to follow the process and get it right. So what I'm saying to us this afternoon, there is too much going on in agriculture for us not to get our fair share, for us not to benefit, for us to be left behind. There's too much going on where you can enhance your product, where you can improve on what you're already doing, and where you can go into new things that can generate income. We can still make a living from agriculture. We can still send our children to university from agriculture. We can still buy a big ride from agriculture. We can do it because we have done it, and there's everything in place for us to ensure that it happens.
Parliamentary representative for the Casablanca constituency, Octavia Alfred. The Environmental Health Department is soliciting the full cooperation of vendors and patrons during the carnival season as officers carry out their duties in protecting the health of the public. Senior Environmental Health Officer responsible for food safety, Calma Louis, says food safety will be top priority during the carnival season.
Environmental Health Officer will be actively involved in mass gathering surveillance and monitoring at most of the carnival activities. So you'll see us at Sunrise, you'll see us at Viva, you will see us there. We will be there. Our goal is not to disrupt the celebration, but to work alongside vendors and event organizers to ensure that the food is prepared and served safely. We are therefore soliciting a full cooperation of our vendors and patrons as officers carry out their duties to protect the health of the public. We also want to remind vendors and their assistants to maintain clean and sanitary vending areas at all times and to be properly attired with the appropriate hair covering, your aprons, and so on. No sleeveless, no pum-pum shorts, just come properly dressed to make the money.
And that is the Senior Environmental Health Officer, Calma Louis. Well, that's the national focus. Stay tuned for news from the region and the world. Up next.
Flow makes your next phone upgrade easy. Add postpaid to your internet plan and score a Samsung Galaxy for as low as $33 a month. It's the smartest way to an interest-free premium phone upgrade. Don't let anything stand between you and that new phone feeling. Step into your upgrade with confidence. Visit us in store and sign up today. We keep your rhythm flowing. Terms and conditions apply.
DBS News.
From the region, Cuban authorities have notified international airlines that they won't be able to refuel at the island's airports as the country's energy crisis deepens following President Donald Trump's steps to cut the island's oil supply in a push for negotiations. The Federal Aviation Administration published notices on Sunday alerting U.S. airlines that the Jet A1 fuel commonly used for international flights will not be available at Cuban international airports, including those in Havana, Santiago de Cuba, and Veradero, starting Tuesday, and won't be available until March 11 at the earliest. No flights to Cuba from Miami were cancelled this morning. And internationally, the United States military has announced seizing a Venezuela-linked vessel in the Indian Ocean, a move that Washington said demonstrates its determination to enforce its oil blockade on the South American country even halfway around the world. The Pentagon said today that it captured the tanker as part of a campaign by U.S. President Donald Trump to cut off Venezuela's oil exports, which critics have slammed as theft and international piracy. The Panama-flagged Aquila II had left Venezuelan waters in early January and was carrying 700,000 barrels of crude oil, according to reports citing records from Venezuela's state oil company, PDVSA. Well, that's the news. Stay tuned for the DBS Evening's Sport Report up next with Garvin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's bowl off with cricket news. Aidan Makram led from the front with the bat. Lungi Ngidi with the ball as South Africa demolished Canada as the ICC Men's T20 World Cup continued today. Well, South Africa hit an imposing 213 for 4 in their 20 overs batting first. Aidan Makram got 59, David Miller 39 not out, and Tristan Stubbs 34 not out. Canada chasing 214 for victory, while they were restricted to 156 for 8 in their 20 overs. And Giddy picked up a 4 for 31 and Marquand Johnson 2 for 30. South Africa won the game by some 57 runs. In some other results today, Scotland pounded Italy by 73 runs and Zimbabwe picked up an 8-wicket win over Oman. Well, the World Cup will continue tomorrow, Tuesday, with Namibia taking on the Netherlands. New Zealand will take on the United Arab Emirates and Pakistan will battle the United States of America. Still live news from the World Cup, where the West Indies T20 captain Shea Hope is hoping that his guys can ride the momentum following their win over Scotland in their opening match of the tournament on the weekend. Shimron Hetmeyer hit the fastest half-century by a West Indian at the T20 World Cup, and Romario Shepherd picked up a 5-wicket haul, including a hat-trick, as the West Indies cruised to the comfortable 35-run win.
You just hit the nail on the head there. There's no margin for error in these tournaments. It's not like a bilateral series where you've got another game to get back into the series if you come out on the losing end. But good start is what we're after.
You were put into bat 182 for 5. What did you think at the halfway mark? Were you happy with that? Did you think it was above or below par?
We felt as though we probably could have gone a little bit more, especially here in Eden Gardens. It's a chasing ground. I think the par score is like 190 or something. But yeah, it was a bit challenging to start. It's just great to see the guys came back in the middle overs and show what the power that we possess. And again, with the ball, just putting their hands up this time around and getting the win.
I'm very happy that Shimron Hetmeyer made the journey here in time then.
Yeah, for sure. He's been playing really well. I think this is his 4th consecutive 40-plus score. So he's been hitting form at the right time, as they call it. It's great to see him playing freely, playing his way and scoring runs and performing for the team. Happy to see him back in front.
And what's the thinking behind him at number 3?
Well, the reality is we had a very destructive left-hander at number 3 last time, and just, I won't necessarily call it like for like, but very close. They're very dangerous players, both of them, and we just wanted someone to take that responsibility at the top, especially being a left-hander. A lot of these teams tend to have a left-arm spinner or a leggy, whether in the power play or just outside. So it's good to have him there, and he's a very good player against the spin as well. So having him there makes it a lot more dangerous for us as a batting lineup.
And that's the West Indies T20 captain, Shea Hope. Let's move to some domino news. Non-players, No Name, One Love and Purple City were there among the many winners as the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union Island-wide Domino League got underway last weekend. League coordinator Delvin Esprit has more.
A number of exciting and close matches were played in the opening round of matches in the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union Island-wide Domino League last Sunday. West Coast Credit Union Jerry Adrian Balance 2,016, Skis 1,918, Casgori 2,047, Rosima White City 2,375, NATO Fulipex 2,001, Babdal 1,777, Non-Players from Casibus 2,508, Kaninago 2,223, and Bears 2,508, Deepa 2,159, No Name 2,511, Seaside Boys 2,398, One Love 2,514, Public Enemies 2,264, and Purple City 2,520, Challengers 2,320, Brigade Stars 2,503, Massey Square 2,209, Warriors from Marigot 2,522, Furkers 1,990, and the close match of the day was played in Pekaj. Shakhtar 2,523, Itasi Stars 2,456. Delvin Esprit reporting.
And we say thanks to Delvin Esprit for that report. Let's bring you some football news as Quentin Tong netted a hat-trick as the St. Mary's Academy scored an easy win over the Castlebrook Secondary School as the sports division's secondary schools under 14 tournament continued this afternoon at the Newtown playing field. Town got a hat-trick with Jadon Jacob and Jalen Kazimi scoring a goal each as they ran away with the 6-1 win over the Castlebrook Secondary School. Matthew Alexander got the lone goal for the Castlebrook Secondary School. Meantime, in some schools netball this afternoon, we saw the Convent High School getting past the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School 11 goals to 6 in the under 14 division. Amira Eustache, she led the way for the Convent High School, netting 7 out of 10 attempts, and we also had Henderson making 4 out of 11 attempts for the Convent High School, when Malia Felix converted on 6 out of 14 attempts for the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. Some more football news. Head coach of the National Under-17 football team, Euclid Bertrand, says while Dominica has not managed a win so far in the CONCACAF Under-17 qualifiers, the team remains in high spirits and is looking to end their campaign on a positive note. Well, Dominica has suffered losses to Nicaragua and Panama. The National Under-17 team will play Anguilla in their final match on Tuesday.
It's been good. I think our second game was a little unfortunate for us because of the cards and the injuries. A really different outcome if it wasn't for that. But I think overall it was good. The guys put a lot of effort in, a lot of things we have to fix and just keep going, you know.
All right, you mentioned injuries and cards, so that looks like it could pose a problem for you for your next game against Anguilla. What's the state of the team? I know for sure the goalkeeper will miss the next game.
No, it's okay because we have other keepers. I think our keepers, they okay. And then we have players that can replace, you know, so it's good. We have teams we look around, we work because we practice all that just in case. We do the teams in different ways and different playing styles. So we'll be okay for the last game, I think, for sure.
All right, Coach, how do you plan on motivating the guys for that final game against Anguilla? Basically, it's all about the pride right now and trying to avoid the last place finish in the group.
Yeah, well, the guys know, they know actually. I mean, it was unfortunate for us in our second game, but they really motivated. They're looking forward to the game, and they all want to do something, you know.
Okay, Coach, despite the rough start to the tournament, are there any positives that you can take from this showing from the team so far?
Well, yes. I mean, the guys are learning. There's a lot of experience for them, learning the different ways. I mean, we're in Hispanic country, you know, the style of play and all that. They're learning it. I think it's good practice for them because actually that is our practice game, you know. So our second practice game in it, and then Anguilla is like our religion too. So we'll be a lot better there.
And that's the head coach of the National Under-17 football team, Euclid Bertrand. Of course, Dominica will play Anguilla tomorrow evening in their final match at 6 o'clock. Let's do football news. Interim coach of the senior men's national football team, Kurt Hurd, wants his players to take full responsibility for improving on their fitness levels as Dominica continues to gear up for the CONCACAF friendly series in March. Coach Hurd says most of the players are not where they should be at this time. He says a lot of hard work and sacrifice will be needed, and the team has to be willing to do the extra over the carnival period.
We're still not at the level to play how we want to play for a sustained period of time, unfortunately. A lot of work has to go into that. I think a lot of that comes down to the players as well, how they recover and how they look after themselves, doing the extras. I understand it's difficult, but with the limited time that we have and the lack of training these guys have had for the last few months, it's really important that they get themselves to a level and we help them get themselves to a level where they're able to sustain high periods of intensity for 90 minutes. Like I said, we're going to take a smaller squad away. I said that to the boys today. We're going to take a smaller squad away with us. We're not taking the usual 22, 23, 24s. Those boys will be expected to play. Those boys, you know, will all play a part. So it's important that everybody is at it and able to compete and push each other within training and games.
And of course, we have the carnival season coming up. It's going to be a festive season.
mentally, how are you getting the guys prepared for that to be able to, take ownership of their fitness and their various responsibilities for the team?
Yeah, look, we're going to train on Carnival Monday. Our routine doesn't change. We'll train on Carnival Monday. I've said to the guys there's no problems at all. Go out, enjoy yourself by all means. But when you're part of a training camp, a national team, there comes sacrifices and discipline. So with that, if anybody watching catches any of the boys with a cup in their hand, please let me know. But the boys have all responded really well to that. They all know their roles, responsibilities. They all know their duties. I trust the guys to look after themselves completely. And like I say, we've touched on the physical aspect of it. These guys, when you play for a national team, you can't take for granted what it means to wear the badge on your chest. I don't take for granted what it means. And I know for sure that these boys won't. They'll go out. They will enjoy themselves. Of course they will. They have every right to. They've worked hard and they deserve it. But it's to do so with discipline.
And that's the interim head coach of the senior men's national football team, Kurt Hurd, taking us to the end of the DBS Evening Sports Report. Of course, we'll have some more sporting highlights tomorrow in the DBS Major Morning News. Just a quick reminder that the news tomorrow morning will be presented by Buyo artist Carlin XP, and James Rodney, manager of TK International, will be presenting the morning sports. Remember, DVS Radio is celebrating Buyo Day in a big way tomorrow. We also have Mr. Ridge, Cross the Bridge, who will be presenting the 1350 news alongside Geoffrey Joseph, also of TK International. And you want to look out for all of the Buyo artists who will be coming throughout the course of the day tomorrow morning as DBS Radio joins Dominica and the rest of the world in the celebration of Buyo Day 2026. That's the news. You heard the news with Ali and Christopher. I brought you the sports. On behalf of the entire news and sports department, our links person DJ Halo Boy, I'm Gavin Richard saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 9th day of February 2026. We begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Deaf announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We announced the death of Elizabeth Thomas, better known as Redelia, age 97, of Marigot. She died on Saturday, the 31st of January 2026 at the Dominica Infirmary. She was the mother of Cleve Daniel. She will also be remembered by her daughter-in-law, Dejane, her grandchildren, Clavis, Miki, Junior, Cleve,